Okay, in this video I want to show you how to arrange the different data fields on different tabs. And before we can do that, we add another entity type to the database, and let's say language, because I want to enter into the database what languages are spoken in what city. Before I expand the database structure, I enter here some data into this field even before this field is connected to the rest of the database, because I think that database design is done better when the database and the data fields are already filled, because then I can see much simpler if the feature and the structure and the user interfaces are working. So I just enter here some languages, and this data field is not connected to anything. So now we connect the city language to the city, because one language is spoken in many cities. Therefore I say language is spoken in city. And city is location where they speak, or let's say where they speak city, where they speak language. That's okay. And one language is spoken in many cities, therefore it's multiple. And we create it. Now we can say that city language default data form, the language is spoken in city, but I cannot let's say German default form. German is spoken in which city? In Hamburg. Where else is it spoken? In Linz. So here you can see that it's very useful that we already have cities in the database, and we can work with it. I do a reload, and we can see that this is already spoken in Germany and Hamburg. If we look to the city, the default, there is no spoken language. This is because this where they speak the language, in the city where they speak the language, which language, is a reverse link to the database. Therefore we need to go here to the properties and the format, and unclick here inverse hidden on data form. If we look now to, let's say, Linz default data form, we can see in Linz they speak at least German, but they also speak English, and that's great. And we save it, And that's a great database. In Munich, for example, they speak German. In Salzburg, they speak German. I'm entering here all the data because only if there is data in the database, I know if the database structure is good enough. Otherwise, with an empty database, I would not see if it's working or not, the structure. Therefore, always taking the effort to enter really useful and meaningful data, because otherwise the design would lead to nothing. Los Angeles, there they speak Chinese, and they also speak English. London, they speak English. So the problem here is the more data fields, the more entity types we connect to the city, the bigger this screen gets. Therefore, I want to separate these entity types to two different tabs. And this can easily be done if I say to the city, create page. And the page, we say languages. And what else? People. So now we got these two pages. They do nothing, but what we can do is I can grab this and say properties, and it belongs is home to. People has people inhabitants. The inverse link appears not to work. So when I go to the city and do the default, you can see that we got three tabs. One tab for the people. People says has inhabitants of numbers. And here the language. City is home to person. And in the city where they speak the language. Because this, where they speak the language, belongs to the city. So let's say in Hamburg, they speak German. And Hamburg has about 2.5 million inhabitants. And who is living in Hamburg? Let's say Martin Müller. So that's how you structure the default data form by making tabs. Thank you very much.